How can I safely install my child's car seat or booster seat in an RV? Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a child passenger safety technician, and the answer to that question is you don't. There really is not a safe way to install a car seat or booster seat in an RV. That might surprise some folks, that might ruffle some feathers. I'm not here to argue with anyone about it. I'm just here to present education so that parents can make an informed decision. So let's talk about why RVs are not a safe way to transport children and what the safer alternatives are. Starting with some background knowledge here, we have three classes of RV, A, B, and C. Class A is built on a bus chassis. Class B is a van conversion, and Class C is a motorhome that is built on a van chassis. Problem number one with transporting children in an RV is that none of the classes of RV require crash testing of the rear living and occupant areas. Because there is no crash testing for any of those rear living quarters, it's really not a safe place for anyone to ride, children or adults. So there's problem number one. Problem number two is that seatbelts, top tether anchors, or lower anchors may or may not be present in that rear living area, and if they are, they most likely do not meet federal standards for seatbelts and for those car seat anchors. The driver and front passenger seat must have federally compliant seatbelts, but the rear living area is exempt from that. The only type of RV that might have compliant seatbelts in the rear are the lighter weight, the smaller Class B that are those van conversions, but they're only required to have them on seats that face the front. So if the seats face the side or the rear of the vehicle, they're not required to have them. And that brings me to my next point. Point number three is that even if seatbelts or tether anchors or things like that are present, even if they are attached to the frame of the vehicle, the fact remains that the seats that your car seat or booster would be installed on are typically made of wood that crumples and breaks during a crash. It is not the same as a passenger vehicle seat. Here's an example photo of that happening. The seats in and of themselves do not have the same integrity as a passenger vehicle seat. And on top of the fact that there's no rear living area crash testing, the fact that there may or may not be seatbelts that may or may not be compliant, the fact that the seats themselves are not as structurally sound as they are in a passenger vehicle, on top of all that, we have a couple additional risks with RV use. One is projectiles from that living area, lots and lots of things that can be thrown around and cause injury. And we also have the problem of inexperienced drivers trying to maneuver these large, high-profile vehicles. RVs and motorhomes are particularly vulnerable to crashes and rollovers because they are high-profile vehicles that are often being driven by inexperienced drivers. Remember that to drive a bus under normal circumstances, you need a commercial driver's license with additional training, but just anybody can rent an RV and get behind the wheel. So maybe all of this information is giving you pause about taking an RV trip or doing that RV life, and you're like, okay, but I have kids and I really want to do this. What now? Two safer alternatives here. Number one is to do a towable RV, so a trailer or a fifth wheel, and pull it with a big old truck that can seat your car seats and booster seats safely. That way, everybody, children and adults, have a federally compliant, crash-tested, safe way to ride. Option number two, if you are insistent on doing that Class A motorhome, is to have two adults, have one person drive the motorhome and one person drive a passenger vehicle with the children in it. And in both of those scenarios, honestly, it's more convenient for you because then you have a normal passenger vehicle where you can run to the grocery, go sightseeing, go off on your side excursions wherever, and leave your RV parked. Because they're big and they're kind of a pain in the butt to move. So it's both safer and more convenient to either take two vehicles or do a towable RV instead. I hope that information helps somebody out today. Please take that info into consideration and be safe out there.